I wanted to answer some questions because I got a couple of questions from the broadcast I did the other night on healing and hurting and hang-ups and heartbreaks and all that. Y'all know the title. And so I wanted to address those before I got in the bed tonight. I was actually at an event. I forgot I had an event tonight. I was going to do this actually a little bit earlier, but I'm going to still kind of be dealing with some stuff. Hey, Felicia, dealing with some stuff from my book, My Best Year Ever. At Periscope, thank you guys for the hearts as well. You guys are so great when it comes to the hearts, because y'all know the hearts always make it, yay, make the broadcast much more interesting. Again, if you have not shared the broadcast, please share the broadcast. Facebook, you guys can share the broadcast as well to invite somebody on for this. What I plan to not be a very, very, very long time, but I wanted to, is your book for guys? Well, I mean, guys can read it. The book was written to women, but guys can definitely read the book. I think a lot of the principles that I teach are all biblical principles, so I definitely feel that they can apply to men and women. So, but yes, specifically speaking, my target audience that I speak to generally is women. So, I think, but again, they're biblical principles and they can definitely apply to men and women. And so what I want to talk about tonight is healing from hurt. And no, I hope you don't have to plan for an hour, but hopefully we'll get through this. But I got a lot of questions about how to actually heal from a broken heart. And there were a couple people inboxed me, and then I got some questions over social media about really healing and the process of healing and what that looks like for them, because it's just one of those things that they're not able to seem to get over. And so there is a chapter in my book, My Best Year Ever, and I believe this is chapter, hold on, y'all. Chapter hold on, I'm so sorry. Yeah, chapter number 12. So heal from your past, but it talks a lot about forgiveness. And so I want to, well, you know what, let me do this real quick. Let me back up. Let me pray real quick before we go in, because I always like to pray before we go into anything. Dear Heavenly Father, God, we thank you so much for today. We thank you for all that you have allowed us to encounter today, God. Even the challenging situations, we thank you for allowing us to make it through them and giving us a strategy to get through our day. God, we thank you for this time together to talk about healing from your hurt, to talk about ways to get past some really bad situations, God. And we thank you so much for all that you're going to reveal to us in this season of our life and even through this very moment, God. We thank you, believing it as done through your Son, Jesus' name we pray, amen. And so, yeah, there were some questions presented to me. They were all kind of about the same thing as far as why you cannot heal. And so a lot of the situations, and I don't generally get too far involved in other people's situations, especially people that social media and different things like that. But I try to share things on a general level in regards to healing and how to get past healing. And one thing that I have noticed in a lot of the people who were asking me this particular question is many of them were playing the victim. It was kind of a victim mindset that they had as far as feeling woe is me, and really, really kind of really focused on what happened to them, not even paying attention to the fact that they are now out of the relationship, but still focusing on what happened while they were in the relationship, what the person did to them, how they did it, this, that, and the other. It was somewhat of a victim mindset. And so I want to ask you guys, if you have found yourself in a particular situation like that, to where you feel like it is hard for you to get over, a situation or a bad relationship. There was a story, or there was a study that was done, and it was done several years ago, but they took a group of monkeys and they put some treats inside of this particular jar, and the monkeys, they had to reach their hand down in there to get the treat, but when they grabbed it and they tried to pull their hand out of it, they were not able to get their hand out of the jar because they were holding on to that thing that they were trying to get out of the jar. And so, long story short, I think that's sometimes how we are how we are, when it feels like we cannot allow when we cannot let go of something. I think we feel that there is a benefit of holding on to something, that there's some benefit that we get by holding on to the situation. And because of that, we're stuck in a situation because we will not release and let go of whatever that situation is, or that thing is, or that feeling is. That we are holding on to. And if you really are honest with yourself, and I have been there, that's the reason why I'm talking about this tonight, and that's the reason why I wrote about it in this book. If you really are honest with yourself, is there some benefit that you feel like you are getting by holding on to a grudge, or holding on to bitterness, or holding on to memories from these particular relationships? Because again, maybe the reason that you are not able to get past it is there is some level of attention that your brokenness is getting you. Maybe it is continuing to get the attention of the person that hurt you, or continuing to allow yourself to still interact with that person, and you're still holding on to it, and you're playing the victim, and you're making this situation be a source of attention, and your brokenness is getting, and maybe that's gratifying for you. And this is the thing I found, even with saying, well, I need closure in a situation. Even though I do believe that there are some situations where you need to get closure, and it's appropriate and it's proper, I think sometimes people, especially women, will use the term "I need closure" as a way to an undercover way to still communicate with the person that it is that you're holding on to these particular things for. I think with maybe if I just continue to say I need closure, so we have to talk, or we have to have this discussion, or looking for an apology, or whatever your thing of closure is for you. Maybe it's that closure that you're hoping that you will get, or that conversation. Maybe you're hoping that it will lead to a different outcome, or maybe something will come up and it will lead to something more desirable for you. And so again, I think we have to really be for real about ourselves and why we are holding on to a particular situation. Because again, leaving is more than just changing your physical location. In order to leave a relationship or to get out of a relationship, it's a mental process. And so what I really want to move to is to talk about really how to heal. And a lot of times we cannot heal because we're thinking that our healing is going to come from an apology. We feel like our healing is going to come when they say that they are sorry for what they did, or they're sorry that they cheated on us, or whatever the situation is. We feel like our healing is going to come at that point. But when we have that mindset to feel like we have to receive a certain response from the person that hurt us in order for us to move on with our life, we have then given that person the power to control our happiness. We've given that person the power to control our peace. And that is too much power to give someone else. If that person has to repent and do the right thing in order for you to be happy, that is too much power to give to somebody. You have to take back control of your happiness and your peace by allowing, sometimes you have to live with the apology that you will never get. Let me let that settle right there. Sometimes you will have to understand that you are going to have to live with an apology that you will never get. And so you cannot give the person who hurt you the responsibility to heal you. I'm going to say that again. You cannot give the responsibility to the person who hurt you. You cannot give them the responsibility to heal you. And so here in this chapter, in Healing from Your Past, it talks about letting go of offense in your life. Letting go of offense. If you've ever been offended, please heart me up, or either put a 1 in the comment section, drop something in the comment section if you have ever been offended by another person. I'm sure that's everybody, right? So if you've ever been offended, and there were times in my life where I felt like holding on to an offense against a person was hurting them. And so again, what we have to realize is that when we think that way, and when we hold on to things thinking that it's hurting the other person, really what it's doing is hurting us in the long run. Because what we're doing is the longer we hold on to bitterness, the longer we hold on to resentment towards that person, that's stopping our purpose. Because again, not forgiving that person does not stop what God has planned for their future. Not forgiving that person does not stop what God has planned for their future. You holding on to it is not going to stop anything that God has foreordained for that person's life. Because we forget that we've been given grace just like that person has been given grace. And so just because they've done something to hurt you or offend you, we feel like holding on to it is going to stop what God is going to do. We do not have the power to hold on to something hard enough and tight enough in order to stop what God is going to do in their life. But let me tell you this. The thing is that holding on to for unforgiveness in your heart against the person won't stop what God is doing in their life, but it will stop some things that God is doing in your life. I'm gonna let that settle. I'm back up off of it for just a second. Holding on to unforgiveness against a person that hurt you will not stop what God is doing in their life, but it will stop what God can do in your life. Because when you hold on to bitterness, to anger, to resentment, to trying to retaliate against people, or like I posted today, sometimes you are not free. You are not truly free from a relationship until you no longer have a need to try to impress that person. I'm going to say that again because maybe it went over your head. You are not truly free until you release the need to try to impress that person or do things that are going to try to show that person that, oh, I'm doing better without you. I'm doing this, and you know what you did to me didn't stop it. Well, you don't have anything to prove to anybody. And if you still feel like you have to prove that, you know, you're doing better and you got it going on or whatever, you are not truly free from that. And what happens is when we hold on to resentment, we hold on to bitterness, it does not stop what God is going to do for them. So if you thinking you hold like that monkey that was sticking his hand down in the jar, but now he can't get his hand free because he won't release what's in his hand. If you think for 1 second that you holding on to bitterness and resentment is going to stop what God is going to do, then you are fooling yourself. And so you have to understand that forgiveness is the very first step to healing. When you can grasp the process of forgiveness against a person that did you wrong, whatever that thing is in your life, even forgiveness up to yourself. Sometimes we can't forgive ourselves. So when you realize that forgiveness is the way that you need to start going, and that forgiveness is not a one-time thing. Forgiveness is not a one-time thing and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I forgive them. Forgiveness is a process. There are going to be some hurts in your life that are so deep. There are going to be some hurts in your life or betrayal or whatever it is that are so deep in your heart that it is going to be a process. You are going to constantly have to retrain your thoughts in order to not let what somebody else did to you in your past have your future. Because it's bad enough that it happened in your past. So you cannot allow that thing to affect your future. And that's going to be a process. It's not going to be like, oh, okay, one day, you know, you're going to be good. You know, you just say, well, I forgive them, whatever. But it's a process that you have to go through. And so this is a lot of what I talk about here in the book. And I think when you really grasp what I'm saying, y'all, when you really grasp what I'm saying, and I want to stress this, and I felt led to go ahead and share this tonight because I feel this for somebody that's holding on to something with hopes that it is going to affect the person that hurt them in some negative way. And because I've seen it, I've been there, I've done that, I've had those things, but we hold on to it thinking that it's going to stop what God is going to do in their life. And God can forgive them just like he can forgive you. And when you realize the grace that God has given you, you will find a way to forgive somebody. No, when you really think about the grace that God has given, because we're not perfect. I know when we're hurting, we feel like we're good and, you know, we're the victim, right? But you are not perfect. And when you think about the grace that God is given to you, you can find a way to learn how to forgive somebody else and be intentional about praying for that person that hurt you. When you really grasp the thought of forgiveness, because a lot of times when we say, well, I just can't let it go. They just did this. I can't get over it. You have to want to get over it. it's no rhyme or reason or any rocket science or any type of formula that I'm going to give you to say, okay, this is how you get over it. You have to first want to get over it. You have to want to release it, because when you realize that what you're holding on to is blocking your blessings, then you will find a way to forgive that other person. Yes, you have to be intentional about forgiveness. And so again, because resenting somebody still doesn't change what they did. It still does not change what they did. So again, if you're holding on to it again, thinking that it's going to change something, it's not. So you have to be very, very, very intentional. And there was a few other things I wanted to share with you guys real quick. Yes, as far as being hurt and putting ourselves in situations where we set ourselves up to be hurt. That was another thing that I saw with situations and even things in my own life where I had set myself up to be disappointed. And how did I do that? I set myself up to be disappointed because I continued to contend with God for things that He did not have planned for me. I continued to contend with God for things that He did not have planned for me. So in turn, I set myself up to be disappointed. I set myself up to be disappointed because ignoring red flags, guys and gals, ignoring red flags will not make them go away. When you choose to ignore the red flags, it's not going to make it go away. And this is the thing. God is not going to allow you to be deceived. So if God is showing you things, whether that is just right in front of your eyes or just something in your spirit won't be settled, or you don't have peace around the relationship or peace around what you're doing, or maybe God has sent somebody to speak something into your life just as a warning to you, and you choose to ignore that and you don't pray around those things, then you are setting yourself up to be disappointed. And so it should not be a shock to you when it ends disastrably. I don't know if that's a word. Is disastrably a word? I don't know. Well, when it ends in a disaster. How about it? You see how I cleaned that up? Look at God. But He will send you warning signs. He is not, if you are a child of God, He will send you warning signs to show you, hey, maybe that's not what you need to be doing. Maybe that's not who you need to be engaging with. At least not right now. He will send you warning signs. So I want you guys to know that. And so a lot of times when God will allow pain in your life, a lot of times when He will allow things to happen, pain is a signal that something deeper is wrong. Pain is a signal that something deeper is wrong. And I used to get, well, I still do from time to time, but we won't claim that. But there was one time when I got a really severe migraine headache. And I had been going and running and ripping and running. And I ended up having to actually go to the hospital in order to get some relief from this particular migraine, this particular thing. And so when I got to the hospital, I found out that I was severely dehydrated. But had I not had that pain, that migraine, that source of that thing that got my attention, if God did not send that pain to get my attention, I would not have known that something deeper, something on a deeper level was wrong that was causing the pain. And a lot of times God will send pain and even allow you to be disappointed by people and by situations to show you and to get your attention that something deeper is wrong. Maybe you have gotten off focus. Maybe you've lost your focus. Maybe you are not praying like you need to. Maybe you have put this person in the place that God should be in. Maybe you are trying to allow this person or trying to make this person feel a void in your life that only God can fill. And there are times when we will keep going about our way, not really checking ourselves, no sense of checks and balances. And God will send that pain to get us to stop, because there is some pain that will make you stop dead in your tracks. I know when I had that migraine, it made me stop dead in my tracks. And that was why I had to go to the hospital. But had I not stopped, had I not taken notice, had God not sent that signal to me that something on a deeper level was wrong, I would have kept going and going and going, not knowing the whole time that I was severely dehydrated, which could cause other problems. So there are times when God will send things in your life or allow situations to happen in your life, especially when we contend with Him for things that He does not have designed for us and we experience hurt. But again, there is a process of healing. There is a process of healing. But again, we have to realize that we have to be intentional about our healing. We have to be very intentional. And again, God does this not to break our heart or to hurt our feelings. God does these things and sends these painful signals to us as a sign that He loves us. He chastens those that He loves. God has invested too much into you to allow you to keep going down the wrong road. He's just not going to do it. Now, if you choose to, again, keep contending with Him and keep going down that road, then, again, you open yourself up to continued hurt and to continued disappointment and resentment and bitterness. But God is not going to allow you to be deceived. He's not going to do it. He's going to send you warnings. But if we ignore red flags thinking that it's going to make them go away, then that's on us. That's on you. So you cannot do that. So again, there was a yeah, you have to find a way to forgive that person. And how do you find a way to forgive that person? First of all, you've got to stop playing the victim. You've got to stop feeling like, you know, that this is something new, that you're the only one who's ever been hurt before. Because trust me, they did this stuff to Jesus. So you think you're not going to experience hurt or that people are not going to betray you? So you've got to get off that victim train. You got to get off the victim train. The second thing I want you to do is stop giving the person who hurt you the power to heal you. What do I mean by that? Because there's some people that just joined in. Stop giving the person who hurt you the power to heal you. Some of us are waiting before feeling like we can't get healing or that we can't move on until we get an apology or until we get some sort of revenge or till we show the person that, hey, we made it without them. Stop giving the person who hurt you the power to heal you. That's too much power to give to somebody. If somebody has to repent and do the right thing in order for you to be whole and healed, something wrong with that. That's too much power to give somebody. Again, ask yourself, are you like that monkey that's trying to get that treat out of that jar but can't get their hand out? Their hand is stuck because they're holding on to something. Are you holding on to bitterness and unforgiveness and resentment for some reason, for something that benefits you? Do you feel like holding on to something is actually hurting the person who hurt you? Because like I said earlier, you holding on to unforgiveness is not going to stop anything that God is going to do in their life, period. So if you are holding on to that resentment, if you are trying to get revenge, if you are trying to do all these things thinking that it's going to stop something that God is going to do in their life, it's not. But it will stop what God can do in your life. So again, if you realize the grace that you have been extended, the grace that God has given to you, you will find a way to forgive the person who hurt you. Even if you never hear, I'm sorry. Even if you never get so-called closure. Because remember what I said earlier, that closure we try to get is really sometimes just a last effort attempt to try to communicate. Maybe thinking that the outcome is going to change if you just reason with them a little bit more. So we have to really check ourselves when we talk about this closure stuff. So sometimes we just got to move on, and that realizing that forgiveness is a process. It's not going to be a one-time thing. You have to constantly train your thoughts. You have to constantly renew your mind in order to not allow resentment and bitterness to set in on you. Because we have to realize that forgiveness and healing can be ours, and that is for our benefit. It's for our benefit, not for the person that you are forgiving. Forgiveness is for your benefit. And so as long as you are playing the role of the victim, as long as you are woe is me, then you are carrying around a heavy burden. As long as you are playing the victim, you are carrying around a heavy, heavy, heavy burden. And so what forgiveness does, it allows you to lay down that burden, and it allows you to walk free. It allows you to go free. When you lay that burden down, it allows you to lay it down, and it allows you to go free. And it frees you from the bondage that unforgiveness carries with it. It frees you from the bondage. Because when you choose to be unforgiving, then you can bet that you are getting ready to stay in a cycle of a bad rerun of your past when you choose not to walk away. And so those are kind of some of the things that I wanted to share. But again, if you have not gotten my book, My Best Year Ever, you can order a copy of that, because that's exactly where this stuff that I'm talking about tonight is actually from. It's from my book, My Best Year Ever, and it's talking about that. But I felt led to come on and hop on to just share with you guys some of that, because I got a lot of the questions. They was like, well, I just can't seem to heal. I can't. Yes, you can. You absolutely can, but you have to be intentional about wanting to be healed, because some of us enjoy the attention that our brokenness gets us. We really enjoy the attention that our brokenness gets us. So you have to really be honest with yourself about where you are and why you are there. And ask yourself, am I in this place because I contended with God for something he clearly told me not to engage in? Am I in this place because I contended with God for something that he clearly told me not to engage in? So I want you to ask yourself that. And you've got to start taking responsibility for your own happiness. You've got to take responsibility. Because if you're trying to rely on other people to do the right thing, you're going to constantly be frustrated. You are going to constantly be frustrated, and you are going to constantly keep attracting the same type of stuff. You are going to constantly be attracting the same type of stuff. You keep being presented with the same type of people and the same situations and the same, no good, people and people that don't treat you like you deserve to be treated, because you are attracting that. Remember what I said? That attraction is like a magnet. What is in you that keeps attracting that to you? Are you learning the lesson that God is wanting you to learn? Because you're going to keep going around this same mountain until you learn the lesson you are meant to learn. And not just learn it, not just know it. Remember what I said, knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Applied knowledge is power. So when you learn the lesson that you are meant to learn, then you live by what you know. You begin to live by what you know. And when you begin to see those signs in people and those things, those red flags, you don't ignore them moving forward. You take heed to them. And you trust that God knows best for you. Again, some of us are worried about being lonely and, all this stuff and whatever. But again, some of us are in a relationship and we're lonely. Some of us are in a marriage and we're lonely. If I'm going to be lonely, at least let it be explainable loneliness. Like, let it be rational as to why I'm lonely. Let me be by myself if I'm going to be lonely. So again, if you will keep attracting the same types of stuff, then you have to ask yourself, am I learning what God is trying to show me? What about me, or what about myself? Where do I need to grow in order to be able to get past these situations and not being able to be so easily persuaded or tricked or hoodwinked, or whatever term you want to use? What is it that I need to learn about me? Because it's all about growing. It's all about growing and being better. And sometimes we are waiting on other people to do things that we just need to do for ourselves. We're waiting on other people to get their life together. And if he would just get himself together. Well, if he never get himself together, that don't have anything to do with you and your happiness and your future and your purpose. Because some people are very much so fine with where they are, even if where they are is not where you want them to be. And so if they choose to stay where they are and not move forward, you then have a choice to make. You then have a choice to make. Are you going to sit there and stall your life trying to wait on them to try to figure out their worth and their value? Or are you going to move forward and allow God to fix that person? You can love them, but let God change them. I'm going to say that again. You can love them, but let God change them. Because some of us feel like we are, baby Jesus, little baby Jesus, baby Holy Ghost, and that we have some power. Or if we love them hard enough, or if we sleep with them, or if we do all this stuff, or if we look good enough and we change everything about us, and if we compromise, that is going to change them into something that they don't have the potential to be, or that they don't want to be. So you can love that person, but you let God change them. and allow them to prove themselves, because a lot of us are dating or going out with people based on potential of what they could be. And what you're doing when you're dating off of potential, or you call yourself dating somebody off of potential, is you are setting that person up to try to give you something emotionally, spiritually, mentally, whatever, that they may not ever be able to give you. And then we're upset when they can't give it to us. So you have to, again, be intentional. I'm going to leave it at that, because now I feel myself getting on a soapbox. And I said I wasn't going to be on here all night. But I want this for y'all. I want healing. And the first steps, one of the first steps, again, is to stop playing the victim and stop giving the person who hurt us the power to heal us. Because some of us will never get an apology. Some of us will never get an apology. And you have to be okay with that. Sometimes, at some point, you have to choose what you allow to hurt you. You have to choose what you allow to hurt you. And if you choose to allow that thing to hurt you, use that hurt as fuel. Choose how you allow it to hurt you. Are you going to allow it to hurt you to where you let it sit there and paralyze you to where you don't ever move forward in your purpose? Or are you going to allow it to hurt you in order to change you for the better? In order to make you wiser the next time you are confronted with the situation, or confronted with a choice to make as far as who you engage with emotionally, as far as dating relationships and people that you meet, and even friendships and business partnerships. Are you going to allow that disappointment to make you smarter, to where next time you will be more alert and more astute and more apt to hear from God before you truly make a move in your life? So you have got to realize this for you guys, and I really want you guys to let this soak in, and let this, and when you sleep tonight, when you lay your head down on the pillow tonight, I really want you guys to allow this to soak in. And so I love y'all. I'm getting ready to get on out of here because I gotta be up early in the morning to get to church and get there and get the word. And so yeah, I want you guys to do that. And so if you have not ordered the book, you can order it. You can order it and actually get it off my website to get an autographed copy. It's available on Amazon.com. But here, y'all, over here and over here. Yeah, so you can actually get it off of Amazon. But if you want an autographed copy, you can order it from mybestyeareverbook.com. mybestyeareverbook.com. Also, if you have not downloaded my free app, the Emerge Online Devotional app, that is what the app is called. It is not under Rachel Proctor anything. Like, my name is, well, it is on there, a little description. But if you have not downloaded the free app, y'all, it's free 99. Free 99. So you have nothing to lose. And it is a devotional app where we send out daily devotionals, daily inspirational messages. It also has the capability where you can watch all my replays from my Periscopes and other videos that I have. You can purchase resources through it. It's some other stuff I know. Oh, you can submit prayer requests through the app as well. So if you have a prayer request, you can definitely submit it to us through the app. And I give all of my messages notifications if I'm going to be doing anything special. And hey, Miss Edna, I didn't even get to speak to you tonight at Dining and Dialogue. But yeah, if you do not have it, y'all, we have gotten so many testimonies. We are not far away from being close to or over 1,000 downloads of the app in like less than 4 months. Look at God. Yes, we are like literally not far away. People are downloading it like crazy. So if you have not downloaded it yet, then I would love for you guys to do that tonight. It is in the App Store, and it is also in the Google Play Store for you guys that still desire to live in the Stone Ages and you have Android phones. What's up with that, Team iPhone? I'm just kidding, y'all. I had an Android too before I got my iPhone back. But anyway, I'm trying to get a BlackBerry. I'm trying to tell BlackBerry to come back. Tell BlackBerry to come back. We need to like do something about that. But anyway, y'all, who put the little mad face? Somebody, y'all, Periscope. Somebody put a little mad face when I said that about Android. Somebody gonna put a little mad face in the thing. So, no, I'm kidding, y'all. Y'all know I'm not sweating it. Whatever y'all want. But it's available. That's why we made it available in both. So if you have an Android or you have an iPhone, you can download it. And it is, again, it is free. so I would love for you guys to, the app is the Emerge Online Devotional app. Emerge Online Devotional app. And it has a little purplish little icon that has the word me in it. So that's when you'll know it's the right one. So yeah, you guys go download it. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I know you will. I'm just praying for you guys that that God will continue to bless you and heal you. And I thank you guys for engaging and hanging out with me. I still see several people on both platforms. I have Facebook. I have Periscope over here to my right, and you guys are over here to my left. So people started getting on me because I was just on Periscope, and people were like, no, you need to be on Facebook Live and on both, because everybody doesn't get Periscope. Periscope is kind of hard to get, on your phone, because it's such a big large download. So yeah, guys, I want to pray for you all.